Once upon a time, long before the United States existed, the land was home to millions of Native Americans. They lived in diverse cultures with rich traditions, trading networks, and governments ranging from small bands to large confederations. Around the late 15th century, European explorers, driven by curiosity, trade, and conquest, began arriving on this continent. Christopher Columbus's 1492 voyage opened the door for more European nations to explore and claim territories. Spain, France, and England were the main colonial powers in North America. The Spanish established colonies in the south and west, bringing missions, forts, and settlements. The French explored the Mississippi River, the Great Lakes, and parts of Canada, focusing on fur trade and alliances with native tribes. Meanwhile, England concentrated on the Atlantic coast, founding colonies like Virginia, 1607, and Massachusetts, 1620, where settlers sought economic opportunities, religious freedom, and adventure. Life in the colonies was challenging. Settlers faced unfamiliar climates, disease, and conflicts with indigenous peoples. Despite hardships, colonies developed economies based on agriculture, trade, and craftsmanship. The English colonies grew diverse societies, from Puritan strongholds in New England to plantations in the South reliant on enslaved African labor. Over time, colonies gained a sense of identity shaped by local governments, town meetings, and shared experiences of survival and prosperity. The 18th century brought tension between the colonies and the British Crown. Britain, victorious in the French and Indian War, 1754 to 1763, sought to tighten control and tax the colonies to pay war debts. Acts like the Stamp Act, 1765, and the Townshend Acts, 1767, angered colonists who argued no taxation without representation. Protests, boycotts, and clashes with British soldiers escalated. The Boston Massacre of 1770 and the Boston Tea Party of 1773 symbolized growing unrest. In 1775, armed conflict erupted. The battles of Lexington and Concord marked the start of the American Revolutionary War. The Continental Congress, representing the colonies, appointed George Washington as commander of the Continental Army. Leaders such as Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and John Hancock navigated the complexities of war and diplomacy. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence was adopted, asserting the colony's right to self-rule and establishing the United States of America. The Revolutionary War lasted 8 years, with key victories at Saratoga, 1777, and Yorktown, 1781, supported by France, Spain, and the Netherlands. British forces eventually surrendered, and the Treaty of Paris, 1783, officially recognized American independence. The new nation faced challenges, creating a government, uniting diverse states, and balancing power between federal and state authorities. The Articles of Confederation provided an initial framework but proved weak. Economic instability, interstate disputes, and internal uprisings, such as Shays' Rebellion, 1786 to 1787, highlighted the need for a stronger system. In 1787, delegates convened at the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia, drafting the U.S. Constitution. It established a federal government with separation of powers, checks and balances, and protections for individual rights. In 1791, the Bill of Rights guaranteed freedoms like speech, religion, and assembly. The young republic expanded westward through treaties, purchases, and settlements. The Louisiana Purchase, 1803, doubled the nation's size, while pioneers journeyed along trails like the Oregon and Santa Fe trails. However, expansion also fueled conflict with Native Americans, leading to displacement and wars. Slavery, concentrated in the South, became a growing moral and political crisis, creating tensions between free and slave states. The 19th century was marked by industrialization, immigration, and social change. Reform movements addressed abolition, women's rights, and education. The Civil War, 1861 to 1865, erupted when Southern states seceded over slavery and states' rights. Abraham Lincoln led the Union, preserved the nation, and issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, freeing enslaved people in rebelling states. The war ended in 1865, leaving a legacy of Reconstruction, civil rights struggles, and healing.
In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the United States transformed into an industrial powerhouse. Railroads, factories, and cities expanded rapidly. Immigrants arrived from Europe and Asia, contributing to the labor force and cultural diversity. The country also emerged as a global power, participating in World War I and World War II and helping shape international institutions. The 20th century saw civil rights movements, technological innovation, and social change. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Franklin D. Roosevelt, and John F. Kennedy advanced democracy, equality, and economic development. The Cold War, 1947 to 1991, positioned the U.S. as a superpower, influencing global politics, economics, and culture. Advances in science, from space exploration to computing, shaped the modern era. Today, the United States is a diverse nation, shaped by centuries of migration, struggle, and innovation. Its history reflects the aspirations of people seeking freedom, opportunity, and justice. The story of America continues, evolving with each generation while remembering the struggles and achievements of the past.